Welcome to another episode with Champ Talk with Branden Hudson. This episode today is brought to you by SBY MMA and Fitness. That is for all your combat sports needs. That's located in 600 Glen Avenue, located upstairs at Pure Fitness. We got a beautiful facility here. We do a lot of cool stuff, a lot of lives getting changed and improved. And, if you do hear this and you sign up locally, make sure you let us know this is where you found it out. Also, like all of the episodes that we ask that you like and subscribe and leave a review on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iTunes, all of it, right? And I don't want to just hear you say, the episode's great. Like, tell us what you really think. Tell us how it's impacted you, how it's changed your life, how it's given you light, value, whatever it is. What we could talk about, let us know something. We'd love to hear about it. It really helps us out and helps us get, more ideas of what to say and talk about. And also gives us a chance to, pass this along and be seen more. And today I am with Superbowl Chet. How old are you, Chet?
How old am I?
How old are you?
How old am I? Well, it's they start making calendars then. How old is dirt? Dirt's
That's about right. No, how are you, buddy? How are you?
I'm good.
Nobody gives a fuck about your age.
Oh, I thought it would be hello, Chetty.
Hello, Chetty.
Yeah, we like a little. I heard that wasn't even a cat. Is that true?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't fucking pay attention to dumb shit. That's your department.
Oh, my department's
that's your department.
Is a dumb shit
Absolutely.
department?
Yeah, I got all the cool stuff.
I got a feeling you've got a department of dumb shit. You've got a whole cold cooler full of dumb shit.
Dude, I got a life of dumb shit, dude. Like, honestly.
Yeah, no, I'm fine. I'm fine. Everything's fine.
What'd you hear?
Huh?
What'd you hear?
Yeah, why are you asking me that? Who the hell did you talk to this weekend?
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about
fine.
it. And you, Gimp, how you doing? Thumbs up, thumbs down. Oh, I forgot he can't give me thumbs up, thumbs down because he's handcuffed. Oh, if you haven't heard, we have a Gimp in the box here. They're the person that runs the cameras.
What did he say?
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Yeah. It was by choice. When I hired him, he was like, dude, this is my only stipulations. You got to put me in a box, and I have to wear the Gimp outfit from Pulp Fiction, and I need one of those balls in my mouth. Not that kind of balls. I'm not going dirty. The little red gag balls, you know what I mean? It's his thing. Look, he's very good at what he does. It came with the quality, and it only took 2 minutes and 42 seconds to go left on our show. So, Super Bowl chat. Obviously, that's my good segue this week.
Okay.
You guys, I don't know when you'll see this, but it'll probably be about 2 weeks after the Super Bowl. But today, this is the day after. You know what I mean? That we're doing it. And I put up a post today about how after the Super Bowl last night, I went to bed just like most unhealthy Americans, scrolling my social media right before I go to bed with all those blue lights and fidgeting. I'm working on that. I went on there and I was seeing all of the comments about the Super Bowl. And then I turn around and I wake up and I see all the comments about the Super Bowl. Seems like what everybody wants to talk about.
Well, that's a thing, I guess.
Yeah, only the thing they talked about was the fucking halftime show. That's all they cared about talking about.
What's new?
Did you see it?
What's new, though?
Did you see it?
What, the halftime?
Anything.
I watched the game.
Yeah.
And some of the commercials.
Yeah.
But I was like, saw the halftime come on, and I was like, I haven't watched, probably out of all the Super Bowls that I've watched, I've probably not watched most of the halftime shows.
Yeah.
You just get caught up talking to somebody, or, you're going to running to the bathroom, grabbing some food.
Right.
I just don't really, unless it was somebody I really wanted to see. Like Prince was probably, that was a cool one.
Yeah, well, just what you said, what's new? It's like, dude, Kendrick Lamar was on the Super Bowl halftime show. I've been a fan of Kendrick Lamar for a long time, since he, came out with Good Kid, Bad City. It was a classic album. If you don't know, Kendrick just won a bunch of Grammys, you know what I mean, for best album, all this good stuff, you know what I mean? And it's just, for me, I've always been into hip hop, you know what I mean? That's been my scene. That was my original culture music. That's what I've always been. There will never be a time, and I know I sound so old saying this, but there will never be a time like late 90s, early 2000s hip hop. You know what I mean? It was the best era of hip hop, in my opinion. Maybe there'll be a emergence of a new era eventually one day when they stop being so political and so watered down and so forth. But that era was just a magical era, and anybody in their 40s, mid
political
40s, low
watered down.
40s, anybody in their
All
mid,
the good stuff was.
huh?
It wasn't watered down. I said a lot of the good stuff was political back in the 90s.
No, that's the early 90s.
Hip hop.
Oh, that was the Run DMC. When you're talking about the late 90s, 2000s hip hop, you're talking about the era with the Locks, DMX, Dipset, Jay-Z, Jeezy. You know what I mean? Papoose, he was a great one. You know what I mean? People don't know how good he was back then. You're talking about that. You know what I mean? Big and Pac had just kind of ignited this new era. So when Big and Pac came out, and they were really big, that was about the end of the era of the Run DMCs and the Public Enemies, who had like a lot of the political statements and the gabber, and that was a great era too. Don't get me wrong, that was the pioneer area, right? You can't go anything without that. But for me, that era of what I'm talking about, I always classify that as a more era where people were trying to get out of the struggle. You know what I mean? Yeah, they were talking about bitches and hoes and cars and cash, which that's just something that it don't matter what genre you're in, what music you're in, it's always going to be a topic of discussion of some sort of success and dating and all that, and women,
Sex, drugs, and rock and roll.
Sex, drugs, and rock and roll. Thank you.
There you go.
But at the same time, there was a lot more, in my opinion, there was a lot more educational factors that hip hop had. And there was a lot more authenticity, I felt, even though I know a lot of it was just for the records. But it was a different era, and it was a lyricist era. It was where they really put together good verses. Just it was a different era, and that's the era I grew up in. And Kendrick Lamar falls into that era. I think Kendrick Lamar kind of baits a little bit into the political stuff a little bit now, you know what I mean, and things like that, which I'm not a big fan of. But so is your boy Eminem, you know what I mean? There's so many of them, that so many celebrities, and everybody wants to be a political expert and have influence. But when we're talking about the halftime show, we're talking about what Kendrick Lamar did. It was a great halftime show. If you like, you like hip hop and you appreciate what the songs represent, you appreciate what the choreography looked like. It was good. I mean, he did a good job. I don't see where it was a bad deal. But the problem is the people that aren't into hip hop say it's a bad halftime show. Well, doesn't that sound familiar when Tom Petty got on there years ago and Taylor Swift was on there? And so where am I going with this? What am I talking about? It's the same fucking conversation we've had for 2 decades, almost 2 decades now, right? This political charge conversation. This I like this charge, not like that charge conversation. This ba-da-da-da-da. We're going to bitch about whatever we want to online just so that we can make a point that everybody hears our stupid fucking cocksuckers flapping, right? Because we want to talk about how bad the halftime show is. It's the same old song and dance, dude. It's the same old song and dance. You know what I mean? And you said that. You said, what's new? Right?
Yeah.
How long have you been hearing this and hearing the conversation go that way?
Yeah. But what I think is hilarious too, though, is there's some things, some threads that run true between through a lot of the people that were complaining about it. It's like, if you don't get it, just say you don't understand it. But you hate what you don't understand. I didn't understand the halftime thing. I was like, I wish I had watched the whole fucking thing now. So I would, but like I said, was it okay? If you're looking for the entertainment value and you didn't get it, then I guess you don't get it. You're not a fan. Okay, sorry, it wasn't a rock show or a country show. Maybe next year. I don't know. Fuck. If that's what people wanted to see, then that's what they. But if you don't get it, it's funny too, because a lot of the people that were bitching about it, it's like, if you go, there's certain things that run true with all these people. You can kind of guess.
You mean a commonality between them all, that?
Yeah.
They bitch about whatever the fuck they can.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where this is going to. It's like,
and that's what I'm laughing. Like, I can look at people on my friends list, and you know who you are. Everybody was complaining about it. I was like, and I can go to your page if people didn't know, and they're probably all going to be about the same thing. And it's true. Like, whatever. So, like, did you want the entertainment, or you were looking for something to complain about?
Well, it's the same, dude, and it's the same song and dance, dude. Like, how long did we just go through this fucking political, and still going through this political charge about right versus left. And, I hate the president. I love the president. Vote my president in. Get rid of my president. Like, how come people are still so blind and naive to that? You probably saw it. There was a local Ocean City post that came out celebrating Black History Month.
Yeah.
And the comments in there were very controversial and very disgusting when it came to what they were saying about Black History Month, right? And I don't think I need to really go into details. I think everybody catches my drift. And you saw so many people getting so upset about that and going to bat for. I looked at some of the comments that were said by some of the people.
Yeah.
They're literally fucking bots. They're literally bots. They're bots, or they're profiles of people that live somewhere across the bridge with 0 followers. Like, these accounts don't even look authentic. 3 pictures in their whole page, and people still get upset and worked up about this. I'm like,
well,
we all know that they're bots, dude. We all know that there's bots.
No, we don't. We don't. And some of the same people that bitch about other things can't tell the difference between an AI generated picture and one that's not.
Mm-hmm.
And then they say, well, even if it is AI generated, like, okay, so just move the goalpost every time. It's because of the idea. Well, the idea behind it, but you're like, just admit that you got duped, like that you really don't get it. Okay, so there's bots, but there's plenty of those that were not, that were actual, real, just disgusting, racist pieces of shit.
Well, but I'm getting back to you. But again, all right, it's maybe you don't know it's a bot, but everyone knows there's bots. Everyone knows there's AI. This isn't like the beginning of the internet. Everyone knows that there's strictly internet trolls, right? Like, there's internet trolls. I know people personally that have admitted out loud that they would create a fake account just to amuse themselves while they take a shit on the job site, to go say spicy things against people in comments, and fucking, if they ever found out, they would be dead, because that was what they got humor out of, right? We also know that they're finding out now more and more that there was people and companies paid to just put in controversial comments on posts, politically charged, all these other kind of things charged, just so that they can sway people's narratives and fuck with people, right? What I'm trying to say is, everyone knows this. Like, regardless if they don't want to admit it.
But some people don't know this, because not everybody is that smart. Not everybody knows that that's how it works. Those things are out there.
Majority of the people
are fucking stupid.
No, 100%. But they know. They know.
I don't think they do.
I disagree, dude. I fully disagree.
I don't think most of them know.
I fully disagree, dude. People
and
understand.
if they do, they can't admit that they were duped and that they were wrong, or that they were lied to.
Yes, that's a whole different discussion. Now we're talking about, okay, well, they don't want to admit it, and their ego is in a play. But, like, I can't believe that people, like, it's and again, if you're on social media and you're looking at a post and you comment on a post or read the comments of the post, you don't have computer/social media illiteracy. You know how to navigate the platform to some degree, right? So therefore, if you look at the post, you comment on the post, or you rebuttal to a comment that's not right, 9 times out of 10, you're going to look at that person who's running their fucking mouth. They're going to look at their profile. You're going to see who this person is. You can't say at this time and age that ignorance is bliss, because, first of all, it's known. It's a known truth for a lot of people that there are people in there that are internet trolls. That was first. People didn't know about that. They got, back in the day when social media started coming out, people would get duped by internet trolls. Damn, if I didn't get duped by one here locally for a long time. Now they know that there's bots. Now they know that you're having more and more discussions and more conversations are coming out. And my point is okay, duped or not, right? Whether you knew about it, you didn't know about it, whether your issue is, whatever. Are the comments disgusting and shouldn't be there? 100%. But then we start violating freedom of speech, right? And then we got a conversation about that. So I don't agree.
I think, there's hate speech. There's things that, people shouldn't say. It's just fucking disgusting and wrong and
Classless.
Bad and everything.
Yeah.
Or maybe, just because I don't agree with it, and you think you're right and you're a disgusting piece of shit, whatever. But at the same time, I don't think it's such a bad thing that people show their true colors. At least I know who the pieces of shit are.
Well,
after they voice it and they're not a bot and they're a real person.
Yeah, but we're talking about two different things here, and I
Oh, no,
appreciate.
I think it's all part of.
Appreciate your perspective.
I think it's all part of the discussion.
Well, it's definitely part.
I think
of the discussion.
they're all tied together.
It's definitely a part of the discussion, but we're also talking about two different things, right? You know, if I knowingly know that, you know, my neighbor is, you know, somebody that's fucking a piece of shit and says it online and has a feeling, you know, especially me with somebody who has, you know, 2 biracial daughters, right? And they don't like black people, for instance. Yeah, okay, cool. We know where you're at, right? When we're talking about just the internet itself, and you're talking about like people that aren't even in this area that have no relevance or bots or internet trolls or whatever, how the fuck do you get worked up about shit like that? That's my question, is how do you let that get you so worked up, right, that you're going to continue to just throw fuel logs on the fire? And then my other side of this is, okay, cool, maybe you're ignorant to it, maybe you're not, maybe you are, whatever. But what the fuck is anybody doing about it? See, that's my whole point of all this shit, right? The Kendrick Lamar halftime show, the fucking political talk, all the hate speech and versus this and versus that, all of the charged conversations. Bro, these motherfuckers get on here and they type in these responses or these text messages or these comments, and they're like, oh, you just wait. As soon as I hit send button on this one, this is going to be the one that's going to change everybody's mind. I'm going to tell everybody how I feel. And then you go back to your regular ass life, doing your regular ass shit, not doing anything about anything you feel so fucking passionate about that you need to go on social media. Like, my point is, I'm just tired of seeing it, right? And I know I could change my algorithm feed. This is a complaining champ talk today, right? So you're gonna get the violent side of me today. But my point is I'm tired of seeing the same conversations from the same people. And I do unfriend people all the time. I'm Facebook is my vessel that I do a lot of business through. So that's where I'm heavier on, right? For me, TikTok's not a thing. I don't do TikTok. I'm not saying it's a bit good or bad. It just, TikTok sucks me in way too long. And I think, I really think TikTok's trash. I think TikTok has got a very very coerced side to it and very manipulative side, just as much as like the Instagram reels do. But I love the reels, they're so addictive, and more so, they're so fun. Especially, you know what I mean? But my point is, I unfriend people all the time because, I don't agree with what they say, or they show me their true colors because I know them locally. But there's no way I'm going to look at something and get charged up and mad about it and then bitch about it and not do nothing. And that's my thing is with all this shit that, okay, cool. You didn't like the halftime show last night, right? Maybe you thought it was woke DEI politics, right? Maybe you thought that the government or the anti-government or somebody was behind it making this huge change, right? Or you don't like the president, right? Or you do love the president and you want to tell everybody about yes or right or indifferent. What the fuck are you doing about it, right? Other than going on your fucking, comments and this whole discussion that we're having, people are addicted just to this. People are just addicted to reading the comments, getting charged up, getting this emotional charge, getting worked up, having to view their comments and stuff like that. Just alone, that part of it and that side of it, they're addicted to. It's similar to a teenager addicted to the video games. I don't ever want to hear any of you fucking adults out here, quote unquote adults, talk bitch about these kids, bitch about these teenagers being addicted to video games when your ass lives on these social media platforms and don't do anything else with your life. And then also, look, it's one thing to live on them and look at them and watch them. It's another thing to constantly comment on dumb shit, constantly have a negative view, constantly bitching about this person. How many, I follow this one girl. She just gets on my nerves. Like, for some reason, she keeps, I know.
And you keep following her.
She keeps popping up on my feed because
And you keep reading it.
Well, I'm entertained.
And you keep following it.
I'm entertained, right? I give you a little bit, right? And I keep following. You're 100% right. But she's like, man, I don't understand why men are this way and why men are that way. And I don't understand it. But she's got a new boyfriend like every 6 months. And she's in love with him. He's the one. And then on top of that, when she doesn't have a new boyfriend, then all of a sudden you see the most raunchiest pictures and you know what I mean? And again, look, if that's what you want to do.
You still follow it.
Well, she's not all that, trust me. But if that's what you want to do, right? Cool. Go about your business. But it's just like, what else are you doing? That's my whole point. What else are you doing? You're talking to somebody who loves social media. I make a lot of money off social media. I do a lot of business off social media. But I'm doing something. You and I are doing something in our community. For instance, I'm in the gym every single day working on changing and improving somebody's life. I'm at the office every single day working on coaching, training, developing, and recruiting, just like yourself. You're doing both these with me. real estate agents and trying to help people feed their families and changing lives every single day, right? I go to community events. I'm in with the community. If you don't know, when you're talking about a combat sports gym, you get everybody. You don't get just the people. Well, some gyms do. We get everybody. We get everybody. When we come to this gym, we get, and it don't matter who you pray to, who you love, who you voted for, who you identify as. It don't matter where you work, what you've done in the past. It only matters of where you're at right now and where you're going. And granted, if you touching little kids or violating people's rights, you ain't gonna be up in here. I'll tell you that right now. You know what I mean? That ain't gonna happen because I don't believe that's rehabilitatable. But is that a word?
It is now.
Ooh, rehabilitatable. All right, cool. But at the end of the day, whoever comes in these doors, when they cross over that threshold, you've heard me say this thousands of times, they become a fighter. Because we are all fighting something in our lives. We are all battling something, whether it's what we're talking about or not. We're on ground zero, Chet. You know, we're actively doing something.
Sure.
Let's talk about politics. I talked about this with Mayor Ben Jordan. All these motherfuckers complain about what's going on with the city of Salisbury. Not damn near one of them go to this. Not damn near one of them go to the council meetings. The ones that do go to the council meetings are actually making changes, are actually doing some things. There's people that are actually working diligently to make something happen.
And that is a cross section of society. So if you're talking about people on social media, and they might on one hand unload and post things that you're like, why are they bitching about this? But they can also be the same people that are actually doing things in their communities, and some form of activism on their part. So
Sure.
that is, I mean, it is a certain percentage of society. And yes, other people just want to bitch and complain.
That is a small percentage compared to the people that are out here fucking constantly tearing other people down. And that's, that's what I'm really getting at is like, dude, there's so much tear down. Like there's so much of this. I would do this if I was, but I'm not going to do anything about it. Or this person, that person, this establishment, that organization has to be torn down. Like it is one of those things where like, I'm so dumbfounded and so blown away by people's stupidity and by people's ignorance and by the way that people pretend to behave. Because majority of these motherfuckers don't act this way in real life.
No.
We know a specific individual. We have a shared mutual friend.
There's several individuals.
We have a shared mutual friend that is vocal about every fucking thing they want to be vocal about. And when you see them, they get along with everybody.
Mm-hmm.
They maneuver and they're actually a good person. But your online version of them, gosh, I'd love to fuck that motherfucker up. Because you know that all they're doing is bitching and they're only just staying in their little nook, their little crack. They're just sitting back, influencing their little pocket of people. What they have, 5, 10 people that they can work with, or they family live, and it blows. And
it's
my
all
mind,
the same
dude.
people.
It is. It blows my mind. And again,
you got your fan club.
This is a bitching episode of Champ Talk, so we're coming, because we're going to do everything. It's coming off, real hostile, but it's like, bro, if you're one of these motherfuckers that you think that the world cares about your opinion about shit, good, bad, or indifferent, nobody fucking cares. Nobody gives a fuck. Like, really, like, I don't care how racist you are. I don't care how racist you're not. I don't care how much you love fucking politics. I don't care how much you don't. Like, I don't give a fuck because none of that shit affects me. If I know where you're truly at and I have to put you in a box, that's one thing.
You just made a point there. You just nailed it. It doesn't affect you.
It doesn't affect me.
There are certain things that do affect people heavily. And if they're bitching about it and doing something about it, that's great. But I think that's one of the things. Until it's something that affects you or somebody you care about, it's like, yeah, I can name hundreds of things like I don't give a fuck because how does that affect me? But when you start talking about things that do affect people, then it changes the game a little bit.
But you're halfway there, in my opinion. You're halfway there. You could bitch. Where's the solutions? See, all we have is people complaining. All we have is
No,
a
I said they're
society of people complaining, and a
but
society
doing
of people that
something about
aren't
it,
sitting
too.
here doing anything. There's no notes followed up. There's no posts followed up saying, let's try this. This is what I would do. This is what I heard. This is the research. There's never that. Now there are, and you're right, there are advocates out there. There are people that are being philanthropists for these certain causes and so forth. But at the end of the day, majority of these people that we know, we hear, we see, there's no solutions. All right? Black History Month, for an example, should not be February. It should be a longer month, right? There's a solution right there. Let's give, and anybody who would argue with the fact that Black History Month shouldn't be a thing, my particular question would be why you feel that way.
Mm-hmm.
Because I 100% believe it should be a thing, right? For the reason that they were slaves. I mean, like, what the fuck do we gotta argue and talk about? America enslaved black people, and black people didn't have rights less than 100 years ago. Yes, there certainly should be a Black History Month. We should honor that. Juneteenth is a holiday that really doesn't affect me at all, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do I want to see it go? No, I think it's a great thing. Do I care? Not really. I'm not gonna be honest. I'm gonna be honest. Juneteenth isn't a thing that I was ever even aware of or thought about before it came out. But why not celebrate that? Why not have more celebrations? Why not have more victory laps and victory chants? Right. We're talking about trying to not have, if the argument is we don't want to have Black History Month anymore because we're all equal and stuff like that. Well, that's the dumbest shit I ever heard. That's like getting rid of all holidays and all things that we Pride Month. Pride Month should be a thing. There's nothing wrong with gay pride. Like, however you feel about, you know what I mean, how crazy things.
Can you show me on this flag where gay pride hurts you?
Right. Exactly. Right.
It's because everybody has their thing, but some stuff is just dumb as shit to me. Like, why?
Dude, we're a soft ass society.
Like, how does this really?
We have a soft ass society, dude. We have a bunch of fucking complaining bitches now, man. People that are just so fucking soft, man. So soft. And it's the people you wouldn't expect. These combat sports gyms and gym owners and stuff like that. I mean, these are supposed to be tough guys, dude. We see it all the time. Like, look how fucking sensitive they are, how much they bitch and complain. Like, this has become something that is almost like Comedy Central at this point. You know, and that's from my whole tirade or what am I trying to say? Tirade, is that a word? Thank you, Chet.
It is now.
See, again, that would have been you checking up that word if you wanted to participate, but you didn't want to do that. My whole tirade about all this is just like, dude, where are the solutions? Where are the solutions? Where are we trying to have solutions into what we're dealing with and what we're complaining about?
Don't look for it on social media.
Well,
that's one place not to look for it.
And I'm going to say this: there's a lot of good things that are on social media, right?
Sure.
I think there's a lot of good value. There's a lot of good content. There's a lot of good education on social media. There's great things.
Hours of sifting through it.
Yeah, that's the bad part. It's trying to sift through it all and trying to get through the shit. And you're 100% right. There are people out there that are advocating, and there are injustices. Nobody's disputing that anything isn't what you feel. If you feel some type of way, it's got to be identified. There's got to be some sort of universal need that's not been met, that's creating this feeling of whatever feeling you're feeling, right? And in this case, it's mostly anger and bitching and complaining. What are you doing about it? What are the solutions?
I mean, there are solutions. Like that little Nazi parade in Ohio. Mm-hmm. Motherfuckers came out with cans of vegetables and started
clunking them.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that.
See, I
love that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good.
Yeah, don't just talk about it, be about it.
Well, why didn't we post that? You should have posted that. I'd have loved to see that. See, I heard about the parade.
It's because eggs were too expensive, so they started pelting them with 59-cent cans of vegetables.
By the way, let me say something. Let me segue into that. One of SBY's sponsors, God's Country Harvest, they do sell some eggs at a very, very good price. I just bought four slabs of them. My man TJ Hornsby, Thomas Hornsby, man, great guy. You gotta love him. You gotta love him. Man, he's got some phenomenal eggs, a bunch of them, plenty of them. So if you guys are running out of eggs, holler at him. You know what I mean? God's Country Harvest.
So if you want to eat some eggs, make some omelets, do some baking, or pelt Nazis, we've got eggs for you.
Don't use eggs. Don't use eggs.
No, use cans of vegetables.
Yes, cans of vegetables and old locks. Remember the combination locks? If you can't find any of them, use them. You know, this does not condone violence. We're just saying protest versus a protest. But yeah, that should have been something that we posted. So I have a couple solutions if you want to hear it, because I spent 30 minutes bitching about people bitching.
Okay.
First off, why don't we talk about what really happened at the Super Bowl? The Eagles beat the shit out of the Kansas City fucking Chiefs.
That was embarrassing.
Jeez, man,
ouch.
That makes me feel good as a Commanders/Redskins fan, right? Because, we got beat pretty bad by the Eagles 2 weeks ago. You know what I mean? But at least we got beat by the champs, and they're a good team. They're legit. But man, they put it on the Chiefs, and I really wanted to see Patrick Mahomes make history, but I also didn't want to see anybody chase Brady, because I'm always a huge fan of greatness. You know what I mean? I'm always a fan of people achieving the unthinkable and undreamable in my lifetime. I got to see Jordan do it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I got to see Brady do it. I got to see John Jones do it. You know what I mean? Anderson Silva had a incredible greatness streak with him in MMA. GSP, George St. Pierre did. I'm a little on the fence about Khabib, you know what I mean? Because I thought he did great when you had, he did the record, but at the same time it was like, I thought that he probably should have went up a weight class, but whatever. He's changed a lot of lives. He's done a lot of great things. Even Conor McGregor had some greatness, some game changer. Hulk Hogan is a great example, even though, talk about fucking racist comments. Jesus, Hulk, thanks a lot. But you can't dispute what he's accomplished and done. I can name a couple others. Mario Lemieux, Wayne Gretzky, excuse me. Wayne Gretzky, achieved greatness. I enjoy seeing greatness happen. And it would have been cool to see Patrick Mahomes hit that level of greatness and we'd be able to see that, you know what I mean? Especially witness it in our lifetime. But things happen, things don't happen, and the Eagles pulled it off. But I do have some solutions, right? If by any chance that this podcast episode hits you in the chords to say, you know what, man, I am a fucking complainer online and I get mad about shit all the time. Because here's the problem is I know that when you get mad and upset, I know that shit trickles down into your personal life, right? I mean, we see people get pissed off online and then turn right around and, beat their kids, you know what I mean? And stuff like that and take it out on their loved ones, right? I'm pretty sure that my wife is one of those people. I'm pretty much sure that my wife.
I will say I've not seen that, but I don't deny that. She
don't listen to these anyway, right? So if y'all can keep this between us, I'm pretty sure that she sees something online. I think my wife is the type of person. Honestly, I don't have any proof. I think my wife is the type of person that she has a bad dream about me and wakes up and gets mad. I was going to say, does
she have a bad dream and then it's like, it was your fault?
Because sometimes I'm just like, what the hell is going on, right? And now she'll point out every flaw that I got. So, you know what I mean? So clearly something ain't right with Branden, but I was just man, it's crazy. Anyway, I digress. But if this episode, for some reason, touches you in a way that says, man, I may be the person that's getting angry and charged up and giving my 2 cents on how I feel about every subject, and I'm probably not doing anything about it. I don't think I do anything other than bitch and complain. And maybe I got too much screen time. Maybe I'm just too much involved in other people's shit that don't matter and shit that really, quite frankly, I don't even care about myself. I just need something to bitch about. Here's a couple solutions. I got a suggestion. Why don't you try finding the positive in some of those negatively charged emotions that you're feeling? Okay, cool. How can I find the positive on somebody saying that we shouldn't have Black History Month, right? How would that be an example? All right. I didn't prepare this. I'm spitballing. Well, there's not a lot of positive you can find in necessarily the subject matter, but you can find a positive in the all-around opportunity where you can help somebody, educate somebody on why it's important, or talk about how it's been important to you. You don't necessarily have to go into why somebody else is ignorant, you know what I mean? Because ignorance versus ignorance equals ignorance, right? You can just go into how Black History Month is important to you and how it's benefited you and what it's done. I love the fact that my 2 biracial daughters get celebrated, once a month, right? I can tell you straight up, they really it doesn't even matter to them. They're just moving along. I mean, hey, cool. And they keep moving just like a lot of people do. But I love the fact that America's willing to say that and so forth. And that could be a small little example There's probably thousands of others. But just start giving a silver lining to these thoughts and comments that you want to post. When you sit there and post up this negative conversation or negative post, I promise you guys, I promise you, no one cares as much as you do. And you're going to have your same 5 to 10 cronies that are going to sit there and jump on a bandwagon and try to cheer you on from a sideline.
Yeah, what he said.
And most of them are missing posts and teeth as well. So you're probably not going to have those kinds of, you're not going to affect the people that you think you're going to affect, right? But why don't you offer up some silver lining of these things? Why don't you offer up a compliment or something that's you know, I know this sounds corny, but, you know, love beats hate every time. Love always beats hate every time. You know what I mean? No matter what, love beats hate. Compassion, humanity, understanding, like, it beats it every single time, you know? And I'm going to tell you what, we're not going back. We're not going back to the way things used to be. I think a lot of people have this feeling and this, you know, false dreams that we're going to go back to how things used to be, whatever that looks like. In this, like, you know, nostalgic, when you used to grow up and when times were simpler, right? It's just not going to happen. We're a very complex society, and we're going into a era where between you know, technology, AI, between education, information overload, like we're just in a different world, and it's going to be a different world. It's going to grow into a different world. We haven't even seen what it looks like kids growing up with artificial intelligence and having that option and having these leverages, right? So it's not going to never go back, you know. But there's one thing that's always stood the test of time is love. Love has always stood the test of time. Love, compassion, resilience, humanity, these things that humans have been gifted with. And regardless of who you believe in or what you believe in, you can't argue the fact that we have this instinctual feeling to want to have culture, have acceptance, love one another, you know what I mean? And be accepted by our peers and the people we care about. And that we want to see people thrive and succeed. We want to help people. We have this innate feeling that we can't even explain, whether it's from our higher power to God or whether it's, you know, from just the way science has made us, that we just love other people and want to see other people grow and become, you know, and do better, right? So try that. Try offering up some suggestions and then come with some solutions. Ask questions. If you're so invested in social media and you're so invested in politics and you're so invested on halftime shows and you're so invested on all these sensitive topics, then offer some suggestions. Pose some questions. Have the conversation. Let me give you a disclaimer. There are bots and there are trolls and there are fake accounts just to get a rise out of the people online. And they laugh and feel good about that and or are motivated by other weird, sickening things. I'm not a fan of it. That's why you don't see me get on there and comment about these things and talk about these. I'll have a long-form conversation with my boy Chet, and we'll talk about these things. And Chet will post some things that I don't agree with, and I'll post some things he'll agree with, and we'll have a discussion. And guess what? Me and Chet are still friends. Nobody wants to fight. Nobody's mad. I don't want to go fucking village.
I just post music and kitty cats anyway.
Well, we need a little bit more recruiting from you. But yeah, I get it. Kitty cats and, you know.
Safe.
Kitty Chet? Is that what you called yourself?
Hello, Chetty.
Hello, Chetty. Well, not me. I put myself out there and I say a lot of fucked up shit and weird shit and cool shit and inspirational shit. And I'm who I am because I hope, just like this podcast, I hope that you can gain something from it.
I have. You try, you show love, you offer love and education. If it doesn't work, you hit them with a can of fucking green beans. That's
a good option too.
Okay.
Yeah, good option too. But I hope that other than that, you know what I mean, that you find some sort of, you know, just some sort of inspiration out here, you know. Another thing that I would suggest, that if you are so charged up and worked up, get off the internet.
Seek professional help.
Just get off the internet, dude. And dude, there's a lot of professional help that's needed. Excuse me. There's a lot of people that you can see clearly that need a ton of professional help or more online. It's so bad how obvious it is, and it's so bad how, you know, people are just You know, I'll tell you what, I'm one of those guilty people, man. I'll watch the train wreck. I'll sit there and tune in. I'll call you up like, yo, did you see this? Yo, check this out. I'm guilty of that, and I can't say I'm perfect. You know, I do have my flaws, but at the end of the day, you know, there's a leverage tool with social media, and if you're not leveraging it the right way, you're really wasting your life. And I know for a fact that when we hit our deathbed, I know one of the regrets the majority of the people that are our age are going to say, and older or younger, excuse me, I wish I hadn't spent so much time on social media. I wish I hadn't wasted so much of my life worried about what others are doing that don't give a shit about me. I wish I would have sat here and spent more real time with real humans and a real human experience, and not gotten so consumed with social media. And we're all guilty of it, guys. So I'm over here telling you about the shit that pisses me off. I'm sure there's thousands of things that piss Chet off, and the Gimp in the Box and all these other people that, and you listening, that you're upset about. But it's not a real place. Like, let's keep in mind that, like, it's yes, it's an extension of who people are, and yes, there's things on there, but at the end of the day, you still have to go out here and live this human experiment. You still have to coexist and coincide with other humans that are doing the same thing, and you have to face good, you have to face evil, you have to face a lot of things out here in this world. But social media is a platform and an expression tool, and it's a leverage thing that you can utilize to leverage your life into a better space, into, you know, people seeing, knowing, liking, and trusting you, and all these other things. Don't get caught up into that. And if you're getting caught up, maybe it's time to just, hey, let me hit the pause button on this. Let me give myself a break. A lot of times on Sundays, you know, I post a lot of content. A lot of time on Sundays, I kind of, I don't do much on that day. You know what I mean? I want to enjoy the day. I want to rest that day, you know, whatever the case may be. Some days I'm recovering from the night before, like, who knows, right? But I don't want to.
It'll be there.
It'll be there. And
it's not going anywhere.
The same shit is over and over again. You know, we post a lot of content. We post a lot of stuff that's, you know, business and inspirational related. You know what I mean? And that'll suck you in as well. But I know that you don't want to be on your last golden years, golden days of your life saying, I wish I wouldn't have spent so much time on social media caring about the halftime show and who played and who didn't. And you know what I mean? Like, full circle, man, props to Kendrick Lamar and props to hip hop in itself. You know, as a fan and somebody who grew up with hip hop, it's cool to see hip hop do what it's doing. Do I like the underground hip hop better? Do I like when it was less commercialized and all that? Absolutely. All music, I think, is better when it's underground and less commercialized. But man, hip hop came from rhyming on the street corners and hitting beats with some sort of percussion made up instrument, whether it be your mouth or buckets or the table. And now it's, you know, it's mainstream and everybody knows about it and everybody likes it. And, you know, Kendrick Lamar was able to get on stage and get on that platform and do a great show. And it was a great performance. Did I think that it was the vibe? I think we could have had a little bit more turned up vibe, but I like the party. They were in New Orleans. You know what I mean? They were in New Orleans. You know what I mean? Which I don't know the statistics, but if you've been to New Orleans, you know what I mean? It looks predominantly African-American. They were playing football, which if you look at the sports, predominantly African-American. It was a show that was put on by Live Nation, which is owned by Jay-Z. It only made sense to have a hip-hop show. Like, that's what I'm getting at. You know what I mean? And I think we should have other shows. I don't think we should just stick to one genre. We never should have. And for the longest time, you did see that in the NFL. You saw just one genre and one show, and that's the thing. I mean, let's be honest. The halftime show will never be at its pinnacle like it was when Creed was on there, and you had the flying men going up and down. There will never be a more pinnacle time for halftime shows when Creed was going down doing his thing during that show. So, I don't know. That's my 2 cents, man. I'm feeling very combative today, and
it's a good thing you're a combat sports veteran.
You were feeling it today too. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed this conversation. Hey, Gimp, you ain't supposed to sneeze.
Bless you. My goodness.
Well,
okay?
that'll wrap us up, man, for this episode of Champ Talk with Branden Hudson, guys. It's been a good one. Again, guys, if you get value out of this, please like, share, send it to somebody who you think would like to hear it. Give us your thoughts. Comment, leave us a review, please. I can't beg you enough. Leave us a review, and don't just put a good show. Like, give us a testimony. Give us something that you like. If you've been following it for a while, listen to it. But that'll wrap us up. We got Super Bowl Chet over here and Branden, your host. It's been a great pleasure to have you guys. What are you doing today to become a champion?